Wow. Have you ever walked into a room and wondered what you're doing there? I mean, how the hell did I get here? I mean, I'm a forester. Look at me. And to be honest with you, I'm far more comfortable in my corner of the forest than I am here on a stage talking to you lot. But hey, I guess times have changed. Look, I've spent the best part of a quarter of a century working in forests and on global forest solutions. I've worked and had the honor of working with some of the leading environmental NGOs and multinational retailers. I've even had a go at a few startups myself. But it wasn't until my recent engagement with Brainforest that I came to realize that one of the most important things that we need to get right if we're going to tackle this dual crisis of biodiversity loss and climate change is to collaborate across disciplines. So I guess that's why I'm here. That's why I work with Brainforest, and that's why I helped co-found one of Brainforest's first venture, Xilva. Listen, if we're going to have half a chance of staying within a 1.5 or 2 degree world, we must deploy natural climate solutions at scale. Natural climate solutions can contribute about 1/3 of our mitigation needs. And this is not just about decarbonization, decarbonizing our built environment, a bit less transport here and there. We must also get carbon out of the atmosphere. And for that, nature is our go-to proven technology of millions of years. And within nature, forests is the lion's share of natural climate solutions. Within forests, we have 3 climate pathways: avoided deforestation, improved forest management, and the largest natural climate pathway of all, reforestation. And forests are great because they don't just sequester carbon in their woody biomass and in their soils, they also provide us with a whole host of other benefits, like biodiversity, improved water, improved air, rural jobs, and quite an important one, oxygen. However, humanity has never achieved that amount of climate mitigation before. We have, unfortunately, caused that amount of deforestation and more. But we have never reforested to that sort of scale and in such a short period of time. So here we have our first problem of scale. Our biggest natural climate solution available to us, and yet we have 8 years to deploy that sort of scale. The second problem of scale is that we need to get trillions of dollars outside of the current polluting asset classes and into natural climate solutions and regenerative businesses. Now, some of those pioneers are here today. Investors, wake up. This is your moment to be on the right side of history. Now, if most of our money is still sitting in the asset classes, businesses, and activities that are causing the problem and are part of the problem, as they transition across to their net zero pledges, where is all that money going to go? Where's the next tranche of ventures? And how are we going to deploy global talent to work on the solutions of the future? It's been my pleasure to work alongside the founders of Brainforest since the beginning of their journey. Now, when I first joined, let's say I was somewhat of a critical friend. I believe I told them at their first meeting that they were naive and crazy. But I truly believe that we need a paradigm shift. The challenge that we are facing today is nothing less than an existential threat, and yet the platforms that we have and we can rely on, NGOs, COP agreements, and corporate targets, whilst all very important, is simply not going to be enough to navigate us through this storm. We do not have the organizational infrastructure we need to scale natural climate solutions. We are going to need a constant pipeline of new ventures that define themselves by their purpose and drive incessantly towards a positive climate output, but without a safe incubation space. And without the right expertise at the right time, many of those ventures will never get off the ground. So I'm going to hand you over to Leo, who's going to explain to you the Brainforest Venture Studio and how it intends to do just that, bring climate-positive ventures into the world. Thank you for listening to a forester.
Thank you, Jamie. It's wonderful to have such a special forester in our ecosystem. Now, let me talk you through the Brainforest model and the surprising source of risk capital that we are using. Now, why did we develop this model? In my 15 years in sustainability, and especially in the last 2 years before Brainforest at WWF, the Worldwide Fund for Nature, it struck me that we have many problems that are getting exponentially worse in climate, in biodiversity loss, and especially also in deforestation. These curves are going exponentially the wrong way. I know that many of you like exponential curves, but this is the wrong exponential curve. Now, on the solution side, we don't have any solutions that grow exponentially or very little. Now, before getting fully depressed, I went to Silicon Valley to look for exponential solutions. And wow, I was blown away by all the technology that is available today. Remote sensing with drones, satellites, machine learning to make sense of the data. There is so much we can use to protect forest and to restore forest. And we have seen many today already, and we'll see obviously more over the next 2 days. Now, we all know here it's about technology and execution. And execution needs brains and risk capital. And we had even our government here talking about the problems with risk capital. Well, let's have a look at return on investment of risk capital. On one side of the spectrum, we have NX, a multiple, 10x or Marcos 35x, from the NOAH conferences since the beginning. If you're an early Tesla investor, you know what I'm talking about. Well, on the other side of the spectrum, you have full loss. Investment is gone. This is also reality. Now, there are people actually giving away money, and today we celebrate one of those. It's St. Nicholas, an early philanthropist, and he was consciously giving away. Now, philanthropy from a financial return perspective is nothing else than as minus 100% return on investment. So it's the perfect source of risk capital for natural climate solutions. The issue is, well, is there enough of philanthropic capital available? We actually put under some of the chairs a gift in the spirit of St. Nicholas today. And obviously not all of you will get one. So this is exactly the problem. There is not enough philanthropic capital to tackle our huge problems we have, the double crisis of biodiversity and climate. So what we need to do, we need to leverage the philanthropic capital that we have. And that's exactly what we do with the Brainforest model. We take philanthropic capital into the venture studio, the Brainforest Venture Studio for Forest and Climate, which is a tax-exempt structure. In the US, you would call it a 501(c). So we can absorb philanthropic capital and give tax benefits to the donors. Now, we take this capital, we analyze the market, we create solutions for more forests and better climate, and validate, product market fit, all these important steps in the venture building process. And when they are investment ready, we spin them out. And then again, we are on the side of the NX. This is for purpose, but for profit businesses that we spin out. Now, does it sound a bit too good to be true, this model? Well, it took us more than a year with the Swiss tax authorities to clear this model. Since then, we were able to deploy 2 million in philanthropic capital and attract 4 million in investment capital. So we start to leverage, it's the beginning of a nice-looking curve. We start to leverage philanthropic capital with impact capital. Now, again, we all know it's not about capital only, it's also about the brains. And here we do the same thing. We mix. We have people from the NGO philanthropic world, WWF CEO Thomas Wellacott, for example. On the other side, we have people from venture building, venture capital, Christian, who opened our conference this morning, an active business angel and venture capitalist. So we bring those things together in our model. And I can tell you it's not always easy to bring the best of both worlds together. This does create tensions. And this is exactly the tensions that we need. We need creative tension to bring out solutions to tackle the huge problems that we have. Now, a bit more concrete, what do we actually do at Brainforest from a content perspective? We have 2 ventures so far, and let me take you through the first venture, Ecosystem Value Association. Now, sometimes we think that climate change is something far away and in the future, but actually it's happening right now here in the middle of Europe. In Germany, forests are dying. There were 3 consecutive very warm summers, and actually over 3% of the German total forest area was lost in this time. The financial need to reforest those areas and make the other areas that are about to die resilient to climate change takes 500 million to €1 billion per year for the next decades. Now, where should this money come from? There is no mechanism that ensures capital flow to these forests, because a logical thing would be to go to carbon markets, and we will hear a lot today about those. The thing is, existing carbon standards, they don't apply in Germany. They have, yes, a very high quality, but high transaction costs and are very analog. So for the small forest owners in Germany, this is simply economically not viable, those options. There is therefore no scale, no speed, and no impact. Now, the Ecosystem Value Association does tackle exactly this problem, creates a digital certificate for forests, climate certificate, with a start in Germany that keeps the quality element, that's crucial, and adds speed and scale to it. How do we do that? We obviously use technology, and those technologies, they were not around 10 years ago, but now they are. Remote sensing again, drone satellites, digitize the whole process, reduce transaction costs through that massively, make it economically viable for small forest owners also in Germany. The team, we have 9 people now on the ground rolling out this. They were able to raise over €3.5 million within 5 months, so obviously this market is really hot, and are then about to scale also to other countries as soon as the German pilot is up and running. Now to the next venture, which is Xilva. Tim.
Thank you. Back last May, I met a forester, and he told me a captivating story. He'd spent all his life studying and developing forests all around the world. So he was hired by an international retailer that had just committed £500,000 to protect tropical old-growth rainforests. He was an optimist, so he hopped on a plane to Indonesia, eager to make a difference. On the ground, his optimism was soon met with frustration. He had to learn the hard way that bringing money to grow and protect forests was actually a cumbersome process. It took him 18 months and countless meetings with auditors, lawyers, and legal teams just to get one single investment in a forest done. Needless to say, there were also countless middlemen, there was overhead, and there were 100% markups eating into the money that was actually destined to benefit the forest and protect the forest and benefit local communities. To me, seeing that inefficiency was a real facepalm moment. I had spent the last 25 years developing hundreds of simple, easy-to-use digital applications and marketplaces, so I couldn't stop thinking about how to remove that inefficiency, how to find a better way. And then came the day that Jamie, the forester, and I, the digital guy, actually had that idea how to bring Xilva to life. We want to make it much, much easier and faster for capital providers to deploy money into forests. The total market is 50 billion per year by 2030. 22 billion were committed just at COP26 in Glasgow just last month. 22 billion of new money were committed into forests just last month. Our ambition is to bring 500 million by 2025 into the forest, and we'll definitely not stop there. So how are we going to do that? What are we going to do to channel the money into forests? Basically, we have to create a platform that generates trust. Trust for the capital provider, that the project delivers on the promise, that it's around for the long term, and also that the money goes to the project and not to middlemen and overhead. But the forest projects, they have to trust as well. They have to trust that their projects are used in a meaningful context and not for greenwashing. And of course, they have to trust that the money will flow to them. So what do we have? We have a platform that allows capital providers to find and aggregate the projects, to see whether the project itself meets their detailed investment criteria, such as time horizon or any other parameters they may look for. Reviews and ratings help them to gain confidence in the project developers and also to evaluate and quickly evaluate and audit their track record. A streamlined transaction process allows them to do the actual transaction fast and make sure that the money goes into the forest. A dashboard allows them to monitor and watch the progress of their projects over time. And it's also a nice retention instrument for us because it allows us to incentivize the capital providers to continue investing new money through our platform. So anybody could build a simple marketplace, right? Our secret sauce is actually in the forest expertise. Sitting there, exactly. In the forest expertise. It allows us to put the money into the projects when they're still new and when they need it most, and put them into our project inventory of the platform at that point. And for the forests, it's also a great thing because it allows them to get money when they need it most and when it's most difficult for them to get it in the project development stage. It's easy to get money later. It's very hard to get it at the beginning. We're going to make it much, much easier and much, much faster to deploy money into forests. Forests are a great solution because they are scalable, they are technologically proven, and they're relatively cost efficient. We want to make their magic work for the climate now. And we have the team to do it. Besides Jamie and his forest team, Marike and Lorenzo are two super experienced co-founders and experienced in product sales and marketing. We founded Xilva in October and are currently working in paid pilots with corporates. We're not raising right now, but we will close a seed round in 2022. Marike, Jamie, Lorenzo, and I are here to tell you more at NOAH. And I would just say, please join us. Thank you.
So this is the beginning of the Brainforest ecosystem, and obviously there is much more to come. Now, it's not about the amount of ventures that we will push out of this model. It's not about the leveraged impact investment. Eventually, the price that we are going after is an exponential curve of additional forests. That's what we have to achieve here. And let's hear our chairman and founder, Christian Wenger, of what's next.
I'm the proud chairman and founder of Brainforest. Brainforest is an association which has the aim to make a better world, to improve the world with more forests, and to create new ventures to achieve this goal. I strongly believe in the combination of entrepreneurship, venture capital, and philanthropy. Philanthropy on its own, it's not sustainable. It needs the drive of entrepreneurs, and it needs to have a sustainable business model. I'm committed to this space, but I see that we don't have enough capital and we don't have enough entrepreneurship in this fascinating world. That's the reason why I make a call to all of you. Join our initiative, become a member of it. Come on, guys, think about it.
Full. Thank you so much.
So, 30 seconds?
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. Because now we have to take this whole model to the next level. We have venture building capacity already proven, and now we are actually adding serial entrepreneur. Amir Suissa, founder of WeFox and DineDeal. WeFox unicorn now, and Damian Doberstein, also a serial entrepreneur, to our venture building part. And this obviously is crucial because, yes, the capital is what we need, and we need all the brains. And one more thing, we are moving on the philanthropic side to 10 million, and on the investment side to 100 million. We create an impact investment vehicle, and here on this QR code, you can put your investment interest form, and otherwise just contact us. Thank you so much, Marco, for having us.
Wonderful.
And we're looking forward to working together on this.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Good luck. Amazing.